Unfortunately, today we are leaving Finland, but not to worry, because we're going to a country that is very closely related to Finland. In fact, I've even heard it being called Little Finland online. So, next stop, Estonia. By the way, nice place, no?
Very nice, yeah. Nice terminal.
Yeah. And so color me surprised because I figured there'd be, I don't know, a couple hundred people on a boat to Estonia on a weekday at 1 p.m. But this ship is massive and there are tons of people on board. The good news is we're still going to a Schengen country, meaning despite all the people, the process was totally fast, like less than 10 minutes in line. And just like that, we are on this absolutely massive boat where I guess what we'll do is try to find a seat near a window, maybe order a tall glass of beer and watch the world go by for 2 hours as we make our way to Estonia, which sounds good to me. And so, of course, they have a full duty-free shop here on board with a bunch of drinks, I think at good prices, and even some clothes and cologne and perfume and what have you. And I think there's a bit of a casino in terms of electronic casino with slots and everything. Although for Ivana and I, we are just relaxing in the restaurant area with my first ever Estonian beer. I said, can I have one beer? She said, would you like a Finnish or an Estonian beer? I said, Estonian, please. Very good beer. Although you guys know me, I tend to like beer. Anyway, we're almost there, so let's check out Estonia.
Sun is shining. Beautiful.
Oh my gosh, we made it outside. Be honest, that was like a 2 kilometers walk.
That was far, yes.
All right, check out this accommodation, everybody. First things first, this last staircase here is just for us. It only goes to our front door. So I guess we're in the penthouse of this apartment building up here on the 4th floor. Now, the floor plan here is something totally unique. You've got this sort of front foyer, which is like a triangle going out. The wall cuts in, and then you've got this little carpeted corner. I think this is the only 90-degree corner in the whole apartment. Everything else is on a very interesting trapezoid or hexagonal plan. It's got everything we need, so I'm not complaining. We got stove, oven, coffee machine, even a dishwasher, which is great with the microwave we won't use, and fridge. So full kitchen for us. You guys know we love that. This is our chillin' area where this door tends to do an optical illusion. This is the bedroom door that goes there, but you can see it's got this beam here, which has a light switch on the beam. I've never seen that before. I thought it would have been a solid concrete beam. It feels like a hollow beam, which is like just there for aesthetics or something. Great furniture, old and big, got the huge speakers. So the apartment has everything we need, but the layout is peculiar. It feels like it's old enough to be a communist era building, but the way it's designed, it feels like it's some modern interpretation or some artistic build. This is our bedroom with a slight slope in the roof, just to make you wonder at first glance if it's sloped or if you're going crazy. And then a second bedroom, which I guess they just put a couch in so you can sit here. I'm not sure if this is a communist era building because typically the communist era buildings are just 90-degree corners, sort of plain and simple. They build them all the exact same and line them up. This one is like, I mean, everything is all crooked and the windows are different shapes and the windows are different heights. And I haven't even got to the best part yet as we circle back to the second foyer. Here's the bathroom, which looks pretty normal. At first glance, you say there's no shower, but there is a shower over here, which is built into the bathroom with drywall and tiles. Something unique. But the crown jewel of the whole apartment is the sauna, which to me is distinctly Finnish, but maybe Estonians also love the sauna. You got the electric heater with the rocks here. If you look up top, you can see it used to be a wood-burning sauna. That's like a sock that's plugged in the old vent hole. And so this doesn't look like they've added it recently. It almost looks like it was built with it because this wall looks 1,000,000 years old. So I think this building was built with a sauna. Maybe this is my first impressions of Estonia, and maybe it's too early to say, but I think Estonia is like Finland plus communist era. That's a very basic breakdown. And to be clear, I've been here for about 10 minutes and haven't left the apartment yet, but interesting apartment. Never seen anything like it.
Very funky.
Awesome. Unique in every corner. And so part of me wants to go chill in the sauna. But it's the first minute in a new country. You got to hit the road, Ivana. Hit the streets. Come on.
All right, let's go.
Let's go.
How cool!
It's a big door, no?
Yeah. Wow. Look at this. Wow.
And so we're blessed to have some really nice weather here today, and naturally our first stop is the Old Town. You can see behind me, which features an incredibly well intact city plan from the 13th century, which means the layout of all of the roads as well as the type and location of all of the buildings has not changed in something like 800 years. Now obviously the buildings have been renovated and in most cases rebuilt due to war and fire, but it's still a great place to travel back in time and enjoy some history as well as some very Instagrammable locations. Now what I really love is obviously very touristic, but around the Old Town regular life is still going on. We are in a European capital after all. So for one, there's a really beautiful football field just outside the city wall where these kids are playing, and it's probably just a regular day for them, whereas just inside the city wall a bunch of tourists are sort of out of their minds. And so I really love the blending of the old and the new, as well as the blending of the historic and touristic with the sort of regular and modern local life here in Tallinn. And I'm assuming in this place we can find some traditional Estonian food.
I hope so.
So let's eat, because wandering around on the cobblestones make your feet very tired, no?
Yeah.
Because so uneven. And so time to sit down and enjoy a beer and some food.
Let's go.
Let's go. Oh wow, check it out. I love the themed cart here with the outfits, very medieval looking, in front of the old Hansa, looking like a ye old restaurant. Just great. All right, so I was inclined to go to that very thematic restaurant around the corner, but unfortunately they did not have blood sausage available, and I for one really wanted to try the Estonian blood sausage, because as you guys remember, 2 weeks ago or so we tried blood sausage for the first time in Finland, and Ivana and I both had very low expectations, but the flavor was distinctly not bad.
It was so good.
It was good, and it was really unique. Tastes like ashes mixed with dirt, which sounds bad, but it was pretty good in the end. So I want to try it. Now, this particular arrangement doesn't look so traditional. It strikes me as not the way they would serve it for hundreds and hundreds of years. I think this is a very tourist-friendly arrangement or plating, but I really want to try, because the blood sausage actually looks the same as in Finland. So I bet you it has that sort of similar flavor. And first I'll try it by itself. It's good. It's good.
Good?
Yeah, it's very good. And I bet you this is lingonberry.
Is it?
Yes. Yeah, it is. So quite good. This is very familiar to what we had in Finland, although obviously a totally different arrangement, even with some bacon on the blood sausage and some, oh, even sauerkraut. That's something new. Let's try that.
Wow.
For me, it's very good. Very, very good.
No, I'm jealous of your order.
This is really 5-star food. We could do a half-half.
Okay.
As
okay,
per
sure.
couples travel, half and half sharing the food is the way to go.
Because I got pork ribs, nothing special.
It looked really good though, and it doesn't look that big. Just 2 ribs.
Yeah.
So I can show you some of mine. And I want to say this before the food scene is over. This beer, first of all, empty before the food came, but that's good beer.
Yeah.
It was served at a very European temperature, which is not cold enough, but that's good Estonian beer. So for me, this is a 5-star meal.
Wow,
although
really?
we are paying tourist price here,
Tourist price.
right in the central square, where there's a horse going by. Oh,
Oh, wow.
what timing was that? That's quite funny. And actually, as the video continues, we'll jump out here to the main square for some very interesting history. So let's eat and then continue the video.
Enjoy your food.
Yeah, cheers.
Very good.
Good, right? Very good. With the bacon on the outside and the lingonberry.
So good.
Nice. And so here in the main square of the old town, we are surrounded, to be fair, by beautiful buildings with restaurants in front of them, one of which we just ate at. Although clearly the focal point is the old town hall right behind me, which gives a good backdrop for me to give a very brief history of Estonia. So Estonia was pagan, meaning non-Christian or non-monotheist, up until the 13th century, which is one of the last places in Europe. We'll learn more about this at the Danish King's Garden coming soon. But after that, it was part of the Danish Empire and the Swedish Empire for hundreds of years, to the point where they're selling souvenirs here in the old town naturally, and they are Viking helmets with the Estonian flag on it. So I'm learning something new. When you think of Vikings, you can also think of Estonia as contributing to that sort of amazing, Viking idea. And so after that, Estonia got its independence in 1918. Unfortunately, right after World War I was World War II, where afterwards the Estonian SSR was established, which is the Soviet Socialist Republic. And so there was a long communist period until communism and the Soviets fell in late 80s, early 90s. So that fast forwards till today, where Estonia is part of the European Union, part of Schengen as we know, and even part of NATO. So my feeling is where the Nordic meets the Slavic, you have the Baltic. Now maybe Estonians might not love that guess. To be clear, I am not a historian. I'm just a guy who likes history, because there is the Russian embassy nearby.
Right.
And out front of it is a bunch of protests, including pictures and information of political prisoners in Russia. So I'm feeling that Estonians today are feeling much more Western than they are feeling Russian. Although I am curious to learn more about the Soviets and the KGB and the communist era. So next up, we're going to the KGB Museum, where we've booked a guided tour. Curious what we'll see there. So let's go learn more about the KGB, I guess, in the KGB Museum. Let's go. And so introducing the Viru Hotel, which was opened for business in 1972 by the Soviets. And back then it was the tallest building in all of Tallinn, standing 23 stories tall, which is interesting because to this day, the elevator only goes to the 22nd floor and the top floor is only accessible by hidden staircase. And so the reason for this is because this hotel was targeting Finnish tourists. Keep in mind, Finnish was not Soviet, it was a capitalist democracy. And so the purpose of this hotel was to show Finnish tourists how great the Soviet Union is. They were eating food that the average Estonian was not eating. They were watching dancing shows that the average Estonian was not watching. And oh, by the way, the 23rd floor was full of the KGB radio room, and there were microphones in your bedroom. So the tour itself took us to the radio room on the 23rd floor. We had KGB only access, but it wasn't the most visual tour. There wasn't that many artifacts. With that being said, our tour guide was really good.
Right.
And she relayed a lot of information about the inefficiency and the corruption and just the general awfulness of the Soviet Union, including back then in the 70s, it had 1,000 employees, this hotel, whereas today it still runs as a hotel and it has 100 employees. So the reason why they got rid of 90% of their staff is because back then most of the staff was spying on other staff, because you couldn't have a local Estonian person interacting with a Finnish person in a way that was not appropriate.
Right.
So the KGB was spying on the employees, and then the employees in turn were spying on the other employees. And so it's just lies and dishonesty and blackmail with a sprinkling in of just deceit. And so it was a good tour, although like I say, not the most visual tour. And so it'll be a short section in our video. It was fun to learn about the Soviet Union and just how generally awful it was. Anyway, the vlog continues. Let's go. Oh, check it out, Ivana. I think it's a bridge for cats.
I think so.
And so we've come to the Danish King's Garden, which is a lovely place to relax, sort of a big park here, despite the fact that there are some relatively creepy statues, very Lord of the Rings inspired, but nonetheless it is a good place to relax at the end of a long day of walking. Now, the year was 1219, and Denmark was on a crusade here in Estonia, which I believe means they were on a war with the intention of bringing Christianity, because as we know, the Estonians were still pagan or pre-Christian, polytheist religion, and so the Danes were losing the war. But then the sky opened up and a piece of red fabric came wafting down, and on the red fabric was a white cross. Not only was this a turning point to make Denmark conquer Estonia and bring Christianity, but it also became Denmark's flag, which I believe is the oldest flag in the world.
Yes.
So there you have it. It's obviously a myth. I don't believe it's a literal story, but in the end, it's a thoughtful, sort of nice place to relax because it happened right here, I believe. And so it's a good way for us to end the Old Town section of our video. I love the Old Town. It's not necessarily the biggest Old Town we've seen, but packed with history, totally authentic. Loved it. 5-star Old Town. Picturesque and historic and great. And so I think we will now venture to a place to have a cold drink and rest our weary feet,
Yes.
which will be outside the old town. So let's go see modern Tallinn. Let's go. And so, cheers everybody. We have come to a place called the Creative City, which I guess was these old factories that went abandoned and then people bought them and turned them into restaurants with some really nice street art,
Right.
sort of all around. Now, to be fair, the sun is still up, but it's on a low angle and it's getting colder now, and I think that's why it's not full of people. Street performers and other things would be very groovy here, I think, in the summertime.
Yeah.
So it's getting colder and it's sort of nice. We have a sauna in our apartment.
Oh, yeah.
We're gonna go home and fire it up. Now, it turns out what I said earlier might not be that wrong. There definitely is a feeling to a former communist country. It is here in Estonia. It was in Romania, Bulgaria, Albania, Serbia, the list goes on. But there is a Nordic sort of flavor happening here, not the least of which is the sauna in our apartment.
Right.
So it was a good day. I wish there was more action here now, but it's early May and we might be a bit
Still
early
a little
for
bit
it.
chilly.
But it was a good day with some good beer, by the
Oh,
way.
yeah.
Estonian beer might be the best of all the Nordic.
What?
It's pretty good.
Really?
So far I've had 2 or 3 different brands, all very good.
And the best price too.
And the price stands out. Finland is high, Sweden is like 2% or whatever they're selling,
Right.
and Denmark even higher in prices. So Estonia,
Good.
come for the old town, stay for the beer.
And I got this plum cardamom, which I think they love plum and cardamoms here in Estonia.
Is it
because
good? Can I
I've
try?
Yeah, of course. It's lemonade actually. They love plum and cardamom even in dessert. I've seen it on dessert and stuff.
It's a good flavor. It's not very sweet.
Very good.
Cardamom is a unique flavor, but kind of good with plum.
Yeah.
There you have it,
Alright.
guys. All right,
Let's end this day,
thanks for watching.
and tonight we'll hit the sauna again.
Definitely, guaranteed. We're gonna crank it up to 65, okay? Swedish sauna all night.